Hello. Last three tutorials we have been going through the basics of HTML5, and then we just started doing CSS. So here we have a link to a CSS file called gelato.css. We know the relevance of this file is a style sheet, and we know the type of style sheet is text-based and it is CSS code. And we saw that proof in the pudding by having our gelato.css, and we have our body tag taken over by the background color pink, and we see this in our web page here. As we dive deeper into making the website look more pretty using CSS code, we need to understand a thing called the box model. So I thought I'll show you this part in this section. This is important, so don't skip this one because this is where a lot of people sort of, have their website sort of exploding a bit in terms of the layout goes all squiff. Okay, so I've got a file here called the boxmodel.html. You don't need to type this one out unless the teacher instructs you to. I'm going to load this up into my web browser here to show you what this is. So we have here basic hello world. I'm just going to increase the size of this so you can see a little bit more. Okay, so the box model is this. We have a thing called padding, margin, and our width of our of any item on the page. So for example, a divider is this thing here. So you can see I've selected a div here on our style sheet here, which is in the header, and we have our body tag and just a basic div divider of called hello world. All right, so by typing in div here, we're taking over this tag here in terms of its looks. So let's do what we did before in our last tutorial and make the background color equal to pink. All right, now when we type in color, you don't type in OUR, we use the American spelling for it. So let's say this and we're going to refresh hello world. All right, there we go. So we can see the background of this div, which contains hello world, has a background color pink. So you can see here that the text itself is butting up against this edge, and we don't want that to happen. Okay, we see here that we have a gap between the top of the L and below the baseline of the L as well. I'm just going to reduce that down so you don't have to do this itself, but this tag is going to do that trick. Okay, it is line height equals 21M. Don't worry about that code there. It is just making this a little bit easy to understand. All right. All right, so let's explain this a bit more. So we have our background color pink, we have our line height. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of our box model. So what we can do is on a div, we can take over the width of the div. So if we say, let's say, type in here width, and we give it a width of, let's say, I don't know, 300 pixels. All right, let's save this and let's see how this goes on this side here. Let's press F5. Have I done too much of a distance here? Div. What have I done wrong here? Save. F5. Might have to reduce this down in size. It is 300. I'm going to reduce this down to, let's say, 200 so we can remain zoomed in. There we go. So I'm going to zoom in again. So we know that this distance from here to here is exactly 200 pixels. Now, here's the funny thing, right? If I'm going to add a padding, so gap between the top of the H and the below the H and before the H and at the end of the D, if it kept on going further on, if I add padding, right,